Hello everyone, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, and it's almost NFL draft time, so it's time to start making some mock drafts. Doing it today here with our Mobile Center mock draft, the first one, first of any kind that we've ever had here. You know Beanie Wells down there. He's got his expertise. We've got Mark Bleeks from Mobile Center. He's got that expertise as well. Both of these guys have been cooking it up. They've all got their research there. We're going to break it down. We've got several episodes coming for you leading up to that draft. In April, it's going to be full of Buckeyes. And today we're going to project where some of those Ohio State players are going to go. And guys, you look at the top of the draft, there's been this debate now going even back a year. Nick Bosa, is he going to go number one? How high is he going to go? So we'll start with you, Beanie. How high is Nick Bosa going next month?
You know, he obviously has the potential to go number one, but I think he goes number two. And that's because obviously you got Kyler Murray there, who the Arizona Cardinals seem to be enamored with, and they probably going to pull the trigger right there at the number one spot. But Nick Bosa certainly will be in that top two being drafted.
Yeah, Mark, it feels like it might take a trade, right, if Nick Bosa is going to go number one overall. But where do you have him going here?
I think worst case scenario, he goes third. It just depends on how desperate some of these teams are to get a quarterback. You know, there's a lot of teams, you know, in the top 10 to 12 picking that I could see move all the way up to number two, kind of like RG3 with Redskins a few years ago. So it could be QB 1 and 2, which would be good for Mr. Haskins.
Yeah,
but
we'll get to that.
Yeah, but I think I don't think, unfortunately, he'll go one, although he should, just because it's a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, so speaking of quarterbacks, Mark tees it up perfectly right there. Beanie, you touched on Kyler Murray, and if it were me, I'm not the one making this mock draft, but Dwayne Haskins is the best pure quarterback in this draft for me. I would have him go number one, but that would take another trade. He's probably not going to Arizona, so I don't know where you have Dwayne Haskins after those, you know, that Heisman Trophy finalist season, all those touchdowns last year for Ohio State.
You know what? I certainly have Dwayne Haskins going, you know, high in the draft. It's just a matter of if one of the teams jump up and get him. We know how hungry NFL teams are for a franchise quarterback. Dwayne Haskins can make every single throw that you want out of a quarterback. A perfect distributor. What he did at Ohio State was sensational. Best season ever by a quarterback. I have him going to the Giants. It's just a matter if they jump up at that number two, that number three spot, because we know how you know that team out west tends to be in the Oakland Raiders. They could do something to surprise us all, as they do and as they have in years past. So who knows?
Yeah, Mark, it almost feels like this storybook, right? Dwayne Haskins running around his backyard saying he's going to play at Ohio State, growing up being a Giants fan. It's like everybody's putting them together for a reason.
The one wild card is Gettleman. You just don't know what that – I mean, I have no idea what that guy's been doing all off season. But I really think somebody is going to have to jump up pretty high to get him. And the Raiders have, 3 first-round picks? So I think they could be a possibility. The Dolphins, I have no idea who their quarterback even is right now. So I think they're a possibility. I think there's a lot of teams that really should go up and try to get this guy, because this guy won us. I mean, we don't have him last year. We lose probably at least 3 or 4 more games than we did. I mean, he took the team on his back and totally carried him, I thought.
Yeah, he was incredible, Beanie, yeah. As we roll along here, Mobile Center mock draft, got those couple guys at the top. Somebody that I think his stock seems to have dropped a little bit. I'm not sure why. In Indianapolis, he didn't maybe work out as great as people thought, but that's Dre'Mont Jones, Beanie. I've watched him play and perform and seen what he can do, just wrecking things on the interior, defensive tackle, 3 technique, the pass rush from the inside. I don't know why an NFL team wouldn't want Dre'Mont Jones. Maybe he doesn't fit their cookie-cutter mold. That guy's going to change games, so where would you take Dre'Mont?
You know, Dre'Mont's, like you said, it's an interesting case. I mean, obviously you look at his production this year, and it was a little bit down for what everybody anticipated, but you know the havoc that he causes in the backfield. And we're watching a time right now where defensive tackles are being disruptive. You watch the Aaron Donalds and the Ndamukong Suhs, and you watch their college careers, more so Aaron Donald. He wasn't a blown out the water type guy in college. It was when he got to the National Football League that you kind of watched his ability to be able to take over.
Yeah.
I kind of see Dre'Mont Jones in that mold. He can play inside. He can play outside. If I'm a team, I'll probably draft him at the end of the first round knowing the upside that's there.
Mark, when I was in Indianapolis for the Combine, the team that kept walking up saying, well, how great would it be if you got to come home? Cleveland Browns, maybe if he falls out of that first round, could be a fit there.
Perfect fit. I mean, it's exactly what we need. I mean, we got Richardson in the offseason, he's an animal himself. And then if we can add someone like him with the versatility that Beanie just talked about, I mean, I think that's a home run pick. Unfortunately, I don't think he falls quite to us. But, you know, you can't count out Dorsey either. He knows how to make some moves, and he loves, making phone calls, just like that movie Draft Day. That guy's on the phone all the time.
He never seems to stop. You're right.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there with Dre'Mont. That's that defensive side. We've got a handful now of offensive guys to go through. We'll save those wide receivers for last because they're interesting. I know if I go straight to Mike Weber that Beanie will jump out of his chair. How high this guy should go.
Oh, man. It's always interesting with running backs. I mean, we see a lot of teams say, we can get the good running backs later in the draft. And Mike Weber's probably going to be one of those guys that a team probably gets him about the third or fourth round. I mean, I think he has the ability to be able to be a 4-down back in the league. A 3-down back in the league. But I think somebody grabs him late third, early fourth round draft pick.
It's crazy. The first thing that came to my mind was that the Bears had just been in for a private workout with him, and then they trade Jordan Howard. It was like, that's where my mind went. I don't know, Mark, if that fits for Mike Weber, but I think he's going to be a productive NFL player. I really do.
I think so, too. He's very serviceable. And in fact, if J.K. Dobbins doesn't take off the way he does, I mean, Weber's getting way more carries, way more touches. So I think Dobbins was just such a unique talent and exactly, the change of pace that was needed. I think it cut into Weber's reps a little bit, but I think he's more than serviceable as a back. I think he's pretty solid. He can catch the ball, too, out of the backfield. I mean, he's solid.
And Beanie, you look at this guy. We just had him into Lettermen Row for Buck IQ this week. Terry McLaurin, he's gone all the way up. Some mock drafts have him in the first round going to the Indianapolis Colts. Pretty remarkable rise from this guy. It makes sense, right? You've seen him produce as a receiver. He's done things on special teams. He posted an incredible time in the 40 at the Combine. But now, we're talking about him maybe going off the board before Parris Campbell, who we'll get to. But what do you see for Terry McLaurin as you go to the next level?
I was shocked when you said he was, in some mock drafts a first rounder. But when you look at his ability, you look at everything that he does, I could see it. I had him going somewhere in the second round. But when you put everything together and you look at McLaurin, and then you look at the landscape of Ohio State wide receivers, in years past, you got Michael Thomas. He didn't have this all-world production when he was here at Ohio State. And I think teams like you and I talked about a little bit earlier are starting to realize, okay, at Ohio State, you can be a very talented wide receiver and not have the production because there's so many in that rotation. So I could see him going late first, but a solidified second-round pick for sure.
Mark, what have you thought about Terry McLaurin? Just seemed like the guy was a captain, did everything Ohio State could have asked for.
He made a lot of plays, a lot of clutch plays too. I mean, he was solid. He was consistent, I think, overall. I mean, I wouldn't say he had quite the splash that Parris had. I mean, and we'll get to him, but I think he's a solid, dependable back, and look out if Andrew Luck's throwing to him. I mean, wow.
That guy seems like, every time he's been to Indianapolis, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
it seems like. So
true.
That guy loves playing at home. That'd be great for the Colts. We'll see what happens. There's 3 of these guys. Johnnie Dixon, it's going to be hard to predict where he goes. I won't put you guys on the spot for that. I think, he tested out much better at the Combine than people anticipated. Still has great speed. Injury's a bit of a concern. So that leaves us with Parris Campbell amongst guys that you can really try and find an early round fit for, and it seems to be all over the map. That's kind of been the case throughout his career. What's the best way to use him? Should you let him run? You're going to use him in that H-back, jet sweep, throw, had some drops. But then he goes out and posts that 40-time Beanie. It's like people go crazy. So Parris Campbell, what's going to happen there?
You know what? I'm calling it here right now. I'm not saying I got an inside word or anything, but the Arizona Cardinals are going to take Kyler Murray with the first overall pick. They're going to take Parris Campbell with the second pick.
Wow.
Now, you got to think, Cliff Kingsbury, what he likes to do on the offense, likes to spread them out wide, get guys in space, and who better to have in space than a guy with the speed of Parris Campbell? I mean, we watched him on countless occasions, outrun angles, get in space, make one guy miss and take it a distance 70, 80 yards, and make it look so easy.
Mark, I don't know how you beat that. I mean, he's calling that shot. He's got to have some inside access. So I don't know. Can you top that?
The only thing I'd say is I don't think he makes it the second round. I think he's going round 1.
All right.
I think, he just is explosive, and you can put him in so many different positions, as you mentioned. And, again, I mean, even he made some big plays for us that maybe we don't win a couple games if not for him. So I really like him in the first round, and I think he's a difference maker and definitely a playmaker.
That's been the first episode here of our Mobile Center mock draft at LettermenRow.com, covering those Ohio State Buckeyes. We've got a couple more coming your way in the build-up to the NFL draft. We've also got a contest Mobile Center is sponsoring right here with us. Going to give away a Bluetooth speaker. Look for those details on LettermenRow.com or on all of our social media channels. That winner's going to get something sweet from Mobile Center. Check that out when that comes out. We want you guys to participate with us and Beanie. see if you can beat that Parris Campbell pick. I don't know. It's going to be tough if he's got all that insight. But this is Mark Bleeks. That's Beanie Wells. I'm Austin Ward. We're going to see you next time on the Mobile Center Mock Draft.